Hey guys, what's up? Are you tired of making New Year's resolutions and all that stuff failing, not reaching your goals, being unsatisfied with the things you did, the things you didn't do last year? Well, I'm gonna help you with that. So, New Year's resolution list. We've all made them, we've all used them. Sometimes they work, most of the time it doesn't really, and you kind of slack off during the rest of the year, right? These are the three things that are wrong with New Year's resolutions list and how people use them. So basically, first of all, expectations. So people get too excited and they attach a lot of expectations to the things they write down. So they plan ahead and they have this really high expectation of this goal they want to achieve, and then basically in reality they achieve this and it kind of feels like you did nothing, right? It's like, oh yeah, I did something, but whatever, I didn't reach my super high expectation goal. So then it kind of feels like you just failed and did nothing. So to get rid of this, don't have expectations. It sounds really simple, and it kind of is, but you have to get in a different mindset in order to do that. So don't write a list and expect you're gonna achieve everything. Write a list as a sort of a suggestion, as a sort of guideline, because if you know where you want to go, then all you have to do is kind of like, steer yourself in the right direction or nudge yourself along the way in order to keep on track. But you can't be like on track perfectly all the time. You're gonna hit the sides and venture off the road sometime, earlier or later, but it doesn't really matter. So don't have too much expectations. What else can you do about expectations? It's like, don't be afraid to fail. Just try, and if it doesn't work, then hey, you learned one more way that doesn't work. But at least you did something, right? So, and then the more you try, the more failures you stack on top of each other. There's gonna be some kind of a good one that kind of matches the goal you set, but don't get too attached to the whole thing. If you wrote it down on paper, it doesn't matter. You can burn that paper the next day and start all over. Be flexible. Okay, so the second thing that fails, that doesn't work on resolutions list, is setting goals too far ahead. So imagine this, like 6 months from now, you'll be in summer, you'll be somewhere on a beach or swimming or being, walking outside, being with friends, picnicking, whatever it is that you do in summer. Are you really gonna think about that thing you wrote down in December? I mean, come on, really? December, summer, this is a really long way apart. You might, if you quit smoking and you'd be like, hey, it's 6 months since I quit smoking. Good for you, it's only 6 months. Don't, get too excited yet. Writing goals down is super easy. You can just write, oh, I want this, and I want that, and I want to do that, and I wish I had this. And it's so easy to just make a little list like that. But you have to be realistic. Like, are you really gonna do all those things in that time span? Or is it like too much for a whole year? Or are you gonna even remember that when the time comes when it should be done or achieved or somewhere? But I have a solution for that. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. So just bear in mind that the duration and the time span you're setting your goals ahead. If it's a clear goal, like for instance going to the Thai Fruit Fest, then that is something that's really like already crystallized, and you have some very specific thing to work towards, instead of like, oh, losing weight. Like, how much weight do you want to lose? How do you want to do it? And all those kind of things. Thai Fruit Fest is like, I want to go there on this place in the world on this specific date with these kind of people, and in order to do that I need this amount of money, this kind of traveling gear, and I have to make these kinds of arrangement, and then everything becomes really, really clear for that time spent. See, that's a longer project, something you can't finish in 1 week or 1 day. It's not like doing the laundry. It's like tomorrow you can do the laundry and bam, you're done with it. So bear in mind the whole time span of the goal or the project you're setting ahead of yourself and all the work that comes with it. So the third thing I want to talk about is your resolutions list or your to-do list or your goals list actually a goals list? Is it a action list, or is it a wish list? And you have to be really, really honest with yourself about that, because it's easy to wish for, you know, say for instance, I mean, I quit smoking. I used to smoke, believe it or not, just for a little while though, don't worry. So you can wish for like, oh, you know, I wanna quit smoking so badly. I wanna have a new computer next year because mine is so old, and I wanna have a new iPad, or I wish I lost a couple of pounds or a couple of kilos, or I wish I got fitter. And I mean, it's all fine to wish for those things, but do you really want them bad enough that you're gonna do something about them? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. For instance, there was this woman who climbed, I forgot her name, but she climbed the Mount Everest. I think she was the first woman to do that. And she wrote a book and she gave lectures and talks about it, inspiring people. And then she noticed that a lot of people came up to her and they basically told her, I've always wanted to climb mountains and climb the Mount Everest. And then she asked them, okay, so that's great, but have you? And they're like, no. So why haven't you done it? Like, if you just said you always wanted to do that, you love doing that, so why haven't you done it yet? And basically people don't have an answer for that. Because the thing is, if you're really passionate about something, you would have done it yesterday. You're not gonna set it ahead in a list and like, oh, I'll do this later. I'm just gonna, you know, go to work and I'll climb the Mount Everest next month, but when I have time. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, making excuses. I mean, I'm not perfect. I do that kind of stuff myself as well, but at least I'm noticing it, and then I can take action on it and be like, okay, fuck the shit, I'm just gonna do it and screw everything else, you know. So that's what you have to bear in mind. Are you wishing for stuff? Because that's kind of waiting for something external, for some kind of miracle, some kind of magic pill to happen and solve the problem for you. And I can tell you this, nobody's gonna solve it for you. You have to do all the work. You have to spend the time. But the good news is you can achieve it as long as you're willing to spend a little bit of energy and time, instead of wasting it on Facebook or television or games or whatever. I mean, you have to kind of consider what you're doing with your life here. So if you really want to make a change, you have to do different shit. So those are the three things that kind of don't work. And I have a little solution for you. Instead of making one big New Year's resolution, you make a miniature reflection every day. So you get a little booklet, and every evening you sit down, you take a little time, you shut off the computer and everything else and all these stupid distractions, which fucking, you know, everybody's fed up with Facebook anyhow. So shut off the stupid computer and your phone, sit down, write down in a little notebook all the stuff that went well today, all the positive stuff. Also write down the stuff that didn't work. And then don't write it down. Just think about, make a conclusion in your head, like, okay, so what is working here? What's going wrong? And how do I want to improve on that tomorrow? And this way, without writing it down, you don't create the expectation of like, oh, tomorrow I have to sleep on time. Because if it doesn't work, you're gonna be like, fuck, I didn't sleep on time for the second day. You know, we all know that feeling. The thing is, you're not gonna remember everything you set out 6 months ago when you're in summer, and you don't remember everything you did in December. But you can remember the stuff you wrote down yesterday, right? So the next day, when you're at work, when you're at school, when you're studying, reading, playing around, doing your thing, you can be like, hey, you know what? I wrote down that thing yesterday, and I'm gonna do something about it today. And that's gonna change all the actions and all the decisions you make on a daily basis. They're not like huge world-changing actions and ideas and things, just little things, but over the course of a whole year that stuff builds up, and you'll see you can achieve all the goals you want. And this thing also works great because if you're doing consistent reflection on a daily basis, or even on a weekly basis, reflect on your week in the weekend, and then fuck man, there's going fireworks and ooh. So if you're doing that on a daily basis or a weekly basis, you're still flexible. You can kind of adjust your goals or maybe change them all together. You're like, fuck, you know what? I'm screw the whole, you know, I want to do a marathon thing. I'm just gonna run whenever I fucking please, and screw the whole marathon. I'm not gonna run a race. I'm just gonna run runs for my enjoyment, and that's totally fine. You can just adjust it, and you don't have to set those things in stone for the whole year and be like, oh my god. See where I'm going here? Okay. The other thing I would recommend you doing is making an appreciation list. It's kind of similar to reflection list, but appreciation list is like a reflection list is what worked, what didn't work. It's kind of a black and white thing, positive and negative thing. And an appreciation list is just appreciation for what you've done, even if you didn't do anything in a day, or if you just, you know, did the laundry and got some groceries and you didn't do your to-do list. If you have a to-do list and an appreciation list, that's really cool, because if you didn't make anything happen on your to-do list, you can still write the stuff you did do that day on your appreciation list, and you can feel accomplished. That's the whole goal. Like, because the thing that keeps people up at night or addicted or distracted is mostly the feeling of not being done with the day, or not feeling accomplished, because they're like, oh fuck, you know, I didn't do anything today. And instead, if you sit down and take a minute to reflect on your day and be like, hold on, today I did this and I did that, and I got out of bed and I ate healthy breakfast, and yeah. And they're like, you know, that's not so bad after all, and tomorrow I can do probably even better, and it's like 5 points today and 20 the next, and you can still feel good about yourself. But maybe I should handle that topic in a different video. So, why resolutions don't work: people get too attached to their goals and have high expectations, and then people set out too far ahead, and it's goals they're probably gonna forget anyway, or they're gonna slack off on. And then third is your to-do list or your bucket list or your resolutions list. Is it actually an action list, or is it a wish list? Like, you're gonna do something about it, just gonna sit there and wish for it. And then ways to solve that are consistent reflection every day. Write it down, what works, what doesn't, and think about what you wanna do the next, and keep that in mind and carry that with you throughout the day, constantly reminding yourself of what you're doing. Well, not always, but just do it. And then also appreciation lists really help you with feeling satisfied with your day. So that's it for New Year's resolutions. I wish you all a happy new year, and if you like this video, please like it, and if you want to see more, click the subscribe button. And if you have any questions or different subjects you want me to talk about, you can do so in the comments below, and I will see you later. Bye bye.